Welcome to the Squad Games Podcast. Squad Games Podcast.
Giacomo, we're going to be talking about Tomb World all day today. All right.
Sure
if you guys are listening to this on the podcast, you get a little bit of early intro stuff, which is cool, which is fun. If you want to check out, we're also going to be talking a lot about hobby and how we painted certain things. If you want to see those, I highly suggest you tune into the YouTube version where you will be able to see the models that we painted and the terrain that we painted up close. Giacomo, we painted this team, both teams and the terrain in what? 8 days? 8 days? Between getting it, building it, priming it, and painting them, right? We're going to talk about a lot more hobby later on, but I want to know, did you watch anything? Did you listen to anything? There's no way you spent 8 days in dead silence, painting Marines. There's no way.
It's funny that you mentioned that because everything I listened/watched, I was noting down mentally because I thought I should say literally everything that I've been doing in order to get through this. So I'll do a quick fast one here real quick. Here's a cat. This is my child.
Oh, nice
cat. I'm gonna put it right there because she's gonna get in the way a lot.
The podcasters will never see this part.
The podcasters.
This is all going to be cut.
So besides listening to her meows when she's hungry, I listened to Short and Sweet by Sabrina Carpenter, All Eyes on Me by Tupac Shakur. What was the album from the Allman Brothers? I forget what that one was. I listened to Rush 2112 in its entirety twice, which isn't that long if you think about it. I listened to, I forget what album it was on from Yes. I listened to the original Linkin Park's Hybrid Theory. Then I ran through the rest of the discography up until the newest album. I played a bunch of my metal playlists twice. I watched 3 seasons of The Simpsons. I watched a bunch of philosophy YouTube videos. And then I watched some Luton for a little bit. Just the way he says Kasserkin is pretty funny. Kasserkin or something like that. It was pretty fun. It was a lot of hours. A lot of hours spent listening to music and watching videos.
And you also did not sleep very long.
I did not sleep very long. I took the pain for art, because I've been waiting for Death Watch for a long time, so I wanted to really make sure I got this one done.
Yeah, and then you chose garbage factions.
I chose great factions, sir.
I don't know why you chose these factions.
Because that's kind of what they gave you in the box.
No, they had Ultramarines. They have Imperial Fists, Giacomo. You don't have to.
But I didn't build
Red
the model
Scorpions and Lamenters.
I wasn't going to use the Imperial Fist on the Horde Slayer. It's going on the Breacher, like it should be. So the Breacher ain't done yet. So I got 5 done because this is still a lot. But 5 is the minimum number I had to hit, and I did it. How about you? What did you listen to while you're doing this?
Well, I listened to a lot of Nelly, a lot of Joyner Lucas. What else did I listen to? I watched all of Andor Season 1, all of Andor Season 2. I watched all of what we can watch for Alien now. Speaking of which, you can watch it now, Giacomo. Alien set me off on the sci-fi kick, and now all I want to do is watch sci-fi stuff. I've been playing a lot of D&D lately too, so I was listening to a lot of the Dungeon Dudes and a lot of their D&D stuff. Trying to become a better DM for this current edition. I think that Sunday I did not paint anything, and I went and played D&D, and I was still able to finish everything. I finished everything couple days before you did.
And terrain.
Yeah, but we had a lot of stuff to do. We wrote an article which will be published as of today. If you guys want to check out that article, if you want to check out the article that we wrote, check out the Squad Games, squad-games.net. There you will find a new article section, and we are going to be posting articles there that Giacomo Saya will write. If I write an article, It's going to be on hobby and how to paint things, because I don't want to. I can talk all day long about kill team strategy. I'm not going to sit there and do the thing that I hate the most in the world, which is writing. Some people would say that I hate bees more than I hate writing.
You can't punch writing.
No, you're right.
You could print it out and try to punch it.
I've done it before. I've lit it on fire. Okay. I have lit writings on fire to clear my emotions. I have tried it, words are a fickle thing in Dakota Luster's mind, and I hate them. I hate them with a burning passion. That's why I listen to Audible, today's sponsor. Just kidding. No. I wish.
Hey, maybe someday, then we'll get you, just use code SQUAD10 at checkout to get 10% off on 3 months of Audible or something.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Hey, I'd be down for that. They have Black Library on Audible.
Dude, they do. Dude, I listened to a lot. I did listen to a little bit of a book on tape, but I did not finish it because I started Alien. And it ate into my time a little bit, But I did finish all of the Necrons, and then Saya helped me finish the terrain. So we got all the terrain done, like painted to a really nice stream level quality. You can see it if you're watching. Well, you're not watching the video. This is all going to get cut. Later on, you will be able to see it behind Giacomo's head, and throughout the video, we did a lot of cool stuff. We're going to talk about all the hobby stuff a little later. There are some really big issues from a rules perspective that I will be making a video on. So if you guys want to see those, and I need somebody to riff off of, so I'm going to have bring G into it and just be like, all right, G, here's all the problems. I'm just going to tell them to you, if you guys want to see those specifically for the Canoptech guys, it's going to be, I can speak on it for quite some time now, but that's besides the point. Today, we're going to be talking about Tomb World and our in-depth review and analysis of operatives and the hobby. As you can see here, we painted everything. We even have the terrain painted and ready to be shown off. We've also played the teams on stream. No, not on stream. It'll be coming out to video, and you can watch that today as well. Maybe you're coming here from the video, from us playing. We have a lot of insights, and I'm not going to lie, the Necrons are a lot harder to play than I expected. Today, we're going to talk about a little bit about the box, our overview, the rules of the team, and then about hobby for both teams. So it's going to be a long one. Hopefully you're ready. Thank you for joining.
Yes. And thank you, GW, for sending us the advanced copy so that we could bring this stuff to you guys. And hopefully you can decide whether this is something for you.
Absolutely. Yeah. Thank you, Games Workshop. It really means a lot that we can make this stuff for the community. We are very appreciative of your generous this box behind us so we can do this. Bring out battle reports and talk about cool stuff, right? So, Giacomo, the box is $250, and I'm not gonna lie, I usually stay off Reddit, and today it brought me to Reddit today. And there's a couple things I noticed. There's some people complaining that the box is $250, right? What do you think about the box, and is it worth it? Because I got big opinions on it.
All right. I look at it like this. It's the start of a new season. You're getting 2 teams, which on average at most stores with, I think most teams are about $65 to $70. And a terrain set on its own, like Yellow Dark, I think was $95.
It's about $100 typically.
About $100. So if you put it together, it's kind of right at that price. In addition to that, you do get extra stuff for NPL mode, which I'm starting to see the trend for it, which I'm down for it. That's a way for people to start getting to play NPL mode. So looking at like that, personally, I think it's a very good box to split with someone if you like the teams and you want to just have a series of terrain so you can start playing the game. That's one of the beautiful things about Kill Team with these big boxes is you pretty much get everything you need. Like I would probably say like 90% is everything you need in a box is ready to go. So I think, to me, I think it's worth it. Absolutely.
I think it's also very much worth it. This box, the terrain alone makes it worth it, in my opinion. In fact, I'm going to be picking up another box, right? Or two, because my wife wants to paint the Space Marines. I want to paint the Space Marines, She also wants to paint the Necrons. And then I have an extra Necron team that I'm going to have. I'm probably going to give away at the Las Vegas Open. Speaking of the Las Vegas Open, you should check it out. It's coming up in October here. Now, awesome thing here. The terrain is so beautiful and so magnificent that I would trade all of my Gallo Dark sets, all 32 sets, for half of these. Okay. I think these are easily worth double it, which equals $200 in my opinion. Right. I mean, the way that they come apart and they go into these little holes here, right? Like they have this little like connector, and you just don't even realize, it's just amazing. Not only is it lighter, the terrain is lighter than the other stuff. It's prettier. It goes together way easier. I think it might be a little bit more difficult to paint. There is stone, right? Essentially, I think the Necron lore, if no one is used to this, the Necrons had an empire. They all went to sleep. People built over them. The dinosaurs came. The dinosaurs left. They got buried. All that kind of stuff. And now there's rocks over their tunnels. Now they're waking up. And they're cleaning house, right? They're cleaning up their little fortresses and stuff and breaking off the stone here and there, doing a little spring house cleaning. And, that's the Necrons in a nutshell. And they're here to, smash them face. And they also hate elves. So, and Tyranids. And everything else.
The Tyranid part. No, I like elves, though. I like elves. I think elves are cool.
Yeah. So the terrain alone makes the box worth it. There is speculation that when the Death Watch team releases, are you going to get 5 Death Watch Marines at who knows what price, right? We don't know. We don't know the price of when in 3 to 6 months when this team releases, if they're going to come out in 5s or they're going to come out in 10s, right? I think you might be getting double the Death Watch here. I think it's a very good deal. I think it's a very good price. Anyone who doesn't buy it will probably just regret it in the future.
Right. This is such a good set. You get 2 big things, a terrain set. Like, this is probably the best time to start in the season. Like, if you have a chance with you and a buddy to pick up the set or by yourself, I see if you can still get it. Hopefully you can. I know once they kind of sell out at most friendly local game stores, they're kind of sold out for a while. If you're near GW, they might have it after pre-order of a little bit, maybe. I hope that everyone who wants it can get it.
Dude, not only that, but the teams are really cool and the teams are really fun. This is the first Necron bespoke team we've ever gotten, right? Like actual models for Kill Team, right? We've had Higher Tech Circle, but this is like models made for Kill Team.
Right.
It's amazing. We have the original Kill Team as well.
Yes.
Which is awesome.
The namesake that started it all. The Death Watch Kill Team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We did spend probably 2 days of effort on an article that we have on our website. So if you want to check out that, it's at squad-games.net. It's under the article section. We have really high quality res shots of our models in there. We have everything that we wrote about it. I have a bunch of different we have a bunch of different funny sayings in it. We spend a lot of time. I would really appreciate it if you guys would go check it out. So we played this team last night here in the studio with Saya recording us. What did you think overall of your first experience playing Death Watch?
They did exactly what I expected them to do. And I don't know what else to really say other than that, like, they met my expectations and then they really made me happy. So, like, I had a great time playing them. I love elites. I love Space Marines in particular. So getting to play what I'd argue is the most elite version of Space Marines was a hell of a blast. You have so many options and all these tricks that don't really feel too cheesy in terms of like, you tell your opponent, this is what I do. And it's just a very strong ability, right? There's not really gotchas. It's just, I do this. And when I do this, I get to do this.
There's a gotcha. There's 100% a gotcha in that
but
game.
You knew it.
Who's that guy? Who's this guy?
I knew.
He's
the one guy, but I told you he can do that.
But what's his name?
That is the marksman, and the marksman can go on guard twice if he shoots.
Dakotah hates going on guard twice, so everyone knows.
Right, because a
guard Worlds, action... It literally nuked all of my vet guard into the ground. Like, I had to trade 5 guardsmen. I hate it. Oh, my goodness. Okay, but also, the thing that really gets you is their special ammunition, right?
Yes.
Which we'll go over more, right, when we get to the rules section for Death Watch. But there's some really big spicy moments, specifically from your marksman in our battle report. He was your MVP for sure. Him and your leader. You know, the rest of your models didn't do anything.
They were support, and that's not everyone needs to be the hero. I only needed 2 heroes, and the rest of the guys just needed to kind of bring the fear of the Emperor to you.
Absolutely. They seem like a lot of fun to play. I can't wait to hobby up mine. If people that are watching, why don't you leave a comment? I'm trying to decide what to do. I'm either going to do Power Rangers, which I'll explain what that is in a second, or I want to do Ultramarines. So I'm going to make them all Ultramarines, right? Or I'm going to make them Power Rangers. And what I mean by Power Rangers is you've seen all the box art for Space Marine Heroes and all that kind of stuff where they go to target. So you have like 1 Imperial Fist, 1 Black Templar, one like of each color, 1 Salamander, 1, Blood Angel, I think that would be a really cool team. There's 11 of them. I could do 11 chapters,
Yeah. And you could
put Titus in there.
Yeah.
Lieutenants of Death are dead in my opinion. They're dead. So now we got
when this exists.
they're so dead.
I like my Angels of Death, but I'm it's going to be hard to want to pull them out. I think someone's going to have to ask me particularly, not to say they're not good in their own right, but this is just like, it's just hands down better.
Yeah, I agree. I would say I'm sad for Angels of Death to be dead. I'm not sad anymore. If anyone watched our previous content, we were really heavy critics on AOD getting nerfed, especially with the 41% win rate. I don't think AOD is going to exist anymore after people start playing this team because they're the new hotness. They're fantastic. They're really good. Some content creators are saying that they're absolutely broken. I don't know if I agree that they are broken. They're really good. I just don't know if they're like sanctifiers on release or cults on release style of good.
Yes. Which we will show you as we touch on the rules in a little bit.
Mm-hmm. What did you think playing against Canoptic? And I'll give you my thoughts of Canoptic.
So, I wasn't too sure what to expect because I was so used to Hyrotech Circle with like a bunch of weird shooting things. And strangely enough, you still have a bunch of weird shooting things. And
the one-shot wonder gun.
The one-shot wonder gun, man. That gun is strong. The Matrix is a very cool mechanic. I really like the Matrix. I think it's a very, very fun mechanic.
You could go full Neo on people.
Full Neo, man. You really can with the Matrix. And that's one of the things I really like about this team, a little more than Raveners, that also really benefit from some kind of token-y path thing. I think you just get more right away from the Matrix, where burrowing tunnels is a little weirder. So I think to me, the Matrix is higher up on the list right now for, things that aren't
faction mechanic wise. I think it's way cooler than just digging in the ground and running around.
Yeah,
for sure. Yeah. So my experience of playing these guys, I think that they're very difficult to pilot. I think they're going to be really good in 9 months when certain people, I think there's going to be a lot of people who try them and a lot of people that are like, this team's too hard. Right. Personally, I really like the team. I like the strategical itch that it puts into my brain of like, what can I do? When should I be doing things? It definitely has, times when you should be doing things. Like, for instance, I made some mistakes in the battle report. I made multiple mistakes in the battle report. I'm aware of them. But like, firstly, the team's very difficult to play. But there's this learning curve where when I was using the leader, who you see right here, the Geomancer, he is such a key integral piece. And if you don't use him right and you don't have a strategy going in originally, you're going to struggle. And I had a strategy, but I didn't do it in the right order, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
So since I'm used to playing Veteran Guard and these like order of activation teams where you're supposed to do certain things in a row, right? I think by far his strongest thing is opening doors and touching nodes with his little orbs, and also his molecular breach, which allows him to select a friendly allied model and teleport them. They're either visible within 6 or somebody who's in the node matrix, I believe, who we'll find out in a second. I never used it like that. I just did visible. And you can teleport through Necron walls. And he is a visible Necron dude, so he can do it to himself.
Mm-hmm.
He give himself 4 APL. Dude is cooked. He doesn't have super strong weapons, but he has so much stuff. You actually need more APL than 4 to do anything with him.
That's one thing that this team, I think, if you lose your leader early on, you're at a massive disadvantage.
You probably lose.
Yeah.
You probably just straight lose.
I think that I feel like that's the case with Hierotech Circle too. Like, you really got to keep that leader alive because they provide so much support, which feels right for Necrons that a Lord would be doing that. So I like it. I think it's interesting.
In my opinion, I think this is an extremely defensive and reactive team. So you want to react to what your opponent is doing while setting up plays and kind of baiting them into traps, right? Which is really cool for an ancient evil type race. And I think that, like, if people know how to play into them, they're going to be a lot more cautious, right? You did a really good job at like being able to like stop some of my things, and I didn't realize some of the things you could do. But also, you didn't see the one-shot wonder gun, doing so well.
No, yeah, that was a twist, man. Like, and if you want to know more about that, watch the battle report. Check it out. It's up now.
Mm-hmm. Do you realize that we're probably both going to make mistakes? It is the very first time we've had we've been painting for 7 or 8 days, right? So, yeah. Painting for that long, learning the rules, writing articles. We really put our best foot forward to learn the rules as much as possible, but there were still some things that we got wrong here and there.
Yes.
But we will be playing these teams again, probably this week, and trying to improve and doing other stuff. So it's going to be a lot of fun. Yeah. So do we want to go into Death Watch
rules first? Yeah.
Okay.
Let's get into the thing.
You want to do faction rules?
Yeah, we'll go into faction rules real quick. So you have the Veteran Astartes rules, which lets you do what Marines can do, which is they can shoot twice, fight twice. And that's with all their weapons. It might cost a little more APL to fire, let's say, like a plasma gun twice. They can counteract when they're in conceal. And a cool thing with their counteracting is they can perform 2 1 APL actions for free when they counteract. So that's amazing. So everybody has, what was the Angels of Death one called? I can't even remember what it was called, but they have that and everybody gets it, which is really nice. Wrath of Vengeance, I think is what it's called. And everyone has that essentially, which is awesome. And then of course they have their big thing, which is all Death Watch players know, is special issue ammunition. Yay. So once per turning point, when you're shooting, when one of your Marines making a shoot action, you can choose to use one of the ammunition types. If you do, the weapon gets that ammunition type, and it's very strong. As you can see here, we got Blast, we got Devastating, Lethal 5, Piercing, Rending, Saturate, and Severe. So if you need something to proc, you got Severe for that. If you need to, like, people are grouping up, but you don't got a Blast guy, you can hit him with this thing. Maybe you just need to do a little bit extra damage. You want to guarantee it, so you get some Devastating on. It's very strong, very flexible, a very strong ability. And at first I thought if you only get it once per turning point, wasn't nearly as strong as it is. I was wrong. It's still very strong, and you really only need it like once per turning point, realistically. Because their weapons, naturally, a lot of these guys have very good weapons too. Their loadouts usually will come with some special ability.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is a very strong ability, and I think it's underrated with how good it is. You might look at it, and you might be like, all right, but if you can choose the point where blast is going to be crazy, like you use the incinerator plasma guy, and then there's suddenly 3 or 4 people within an inch of each other, and you nuke all of them into the ground, and you're like, oh my gosh,
it's crazy. That's another thing. Is all this special ammunition works on any weapon. So plasma can have it. Your flamethrower can have it off the Infernus Heavy Bolter. It's not just bolt weapons.
Correct. Now, when you read this, you may think like, hey, actually, I don't like when I read this rule, it doesn't specifically say add, right? It doesn't also say, it just says like, use this weapon rule, right? You can use this rule, right? And that doesn't necessarily say that it removes or it adds. But if you look at, I believe, the 3rd paragraph of the designer commentary, which I'm a big fan of them adding, it does say that these add to the rule's current special rule. So if you have that question, I just answered it. Okay. Yes. Don't argue it. It's in the designer commentary. Okay.
And things don't stack. So if you have piercing 1 and you add piercing 1, it does not go to piercing 2. It's just piercing 1. So don't do that. Just throw yourself on a lethal 5 or something.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it's very important to have these. And I should point out, it's piercing 1, not piercing crits. You just get piercing 1 when you need it. So that's important to have.
It is. It is. Yeah. So do you want to go over strategy ploys next, G, or do you want to go over models?
Let's go over strategy ploys real fast. We'll go strategy, firefight, and then I'm fine with some models.
I have mission tactics here.
Yes, so this is one of your first ones. This is an awesome one. So you would select either your conceal or your engage. And if you are shooting or fighting, any of your weapons are doing something to an opponent that has the order token you've chosen, your weapons gain balance. This is insanely useful. If you watch the video, I use this every turn because it's so useful. If you know your opponent's going to be aggressive, then you're just going to take engage and you're just going to have balance in everybody. It's awesome. That's for 1 command point. You get command point reroll pretty much on everyone. Almost guaranteed. Everyone's going to get to benefit off this.
And that is such an important thing. Like, I can't tell you for new players how important balanced or ceaseless is, especially if you're just going to use it for 1 command point. Because there's going to be a point where you don't take this. You only have 1 command point left. And then you just whiff with everything. I mean, I lost to Alex Popov when I played Space Marines into his exaction squad, and there's no way that I should have lost that game. But my last round, I had like 2 or 3 Space Marines that just completely whiffed. And if I just would have spent 1 command point, I wouldn't have had to burn everything. And it's the reason why I lost. Dice be dice. So if you can make dice not be dice, you're doing great things.
Yeah, this is one of your few reroll abilities. So take them when you can.
So we have the Long Vigil up next.
Yes, the Long Vigil. So when someone is shooting at one of your Deathwatch models, if you're within your territory, not wholly, just within, so you could be on that halfway mark, you can reroll your defense dice. So real fast, they have security and seek and destroy. So if you're playing a lot of security and you need to kind of stay in your zone to help hold it, this is perfect. You take the Long Vigil. That's right away. Yeah, it's a little more situational because I didn't use this really once because I was playing pretty aggressively, but I can see if you decide to play more defensively, then the Long Vigil really comes in handy. Just for, again, having reroll defense dice is nice.
It is, especially if you know your models are going to get shot.
Mm-hmm.
Next up, we have And They Shall Know No Fear.
This is a classic one. So just like all other Space Marines, they decide that they don't want to actually be injured, even though they should be injured. Pretty straightforward. Sometimes you need these guys to make sure they're working at full capacity, especially since they only got 5 models, 5 operatives. You gotta do what you can, and so this lets them just work one more time. I should have used this at one point, and I was debating it. So it's never a bad thing to have, and They Shall Know No Fear.
Absolutely,
just a good tool.
Next up, we have the shield that slays.
Ah, yes, the shield that slays. This one is great. So when your guy is in your opponent's territory, again, not wholly within, just within your opponent's territory, if you're getting a normal or critical damage of 4 or more, reduce it by 1. Awesome. Again, most of these models, I think on average is about 15 wounds. So again, with 5 models, you need to try to keep them alive as much as you can, whether you're using this or some of their other abilities. So again, anything that keeps 5 models alive for longer is super important. And I use Shield That Slays a lot. It's a very good ability. You're probably using this more. Yeah.
This was very, very good in our matchup. It's kept some of his guys just alive, period.
Mm-hmm.
You also used Suffer Not the Alien to Live.
Yes, this one is the most flavorful one, probably right next to Initial No Fear. So for Deathwatch, they are Xenos Hunters. So if you're fighting or shooting at an enemy operative that doesn't have Chaos or Imperium, then you can reroll any of your attack dice. So I happened to play against Necron, like a Necron kill team, so I got to use this a few times, which is always nice.
Absolutely.
And there's times where you whiff and you just need full rerolls. And then we have Transhuman Physiology. This is a classic. If you make a normal defense dice, you can transform it as a critical instead, which can make or break a time when someone goes, I got the critical damage hit, but then no, you're not really, and you survive. And on the screen right now, you can see the Deathwatch we have. I believe that's the Silver Bulls. We got Lamenters. We have the Marksman as the Exorcist. We have the Aegis Veteran as the Red Scorpion. That was on a request by one person. And then we have the Salamanders, because Salamanders always carry fire. That's just the thing you do with the Infernus Heavy Bolter. That is the Horde Slayer.
Mm-hmm. And then our final firefight. No, we have 2 firefight boys left. I lied. What about Auspex Scan?
So Advanced Auspex Scan. So when you're shooting, when you're shooting at an enemy operative, the ranged weapons have the saturate rule, and they can't be obscured. So this is nice. And if you pair this with the, what's his name right now? The Disruptor, he can activate this for free for you, which is good because you want to save command points to use them for all your other stuff. It's pretty nice and can come in handy. Like if you're playing against like Night Lords who want to be obscured all the time, you just get rid of that. Gives them something to fear.
Absolutely.
Yeah, they get nightmares now.
And we have Auspicator tracking.
So this is nice, and I did use this against Dakotah. This is probably one of the few gotchas that this team has, I think. So I'm in counteracting mode right now, and you can decide to change from from your order token. You can switch it to the opposite. So if I was in conceal, I jump up to engage, and then now I can suddenly shoot and do stuff. Or if you had shot, you can then go into conceal and hide.
Correct.
It's very nice to have.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, just another tool to keep you alive.
Absolutely. So next up, we have the operatives.
Ooh, and we have a total of 11 operatives that you can choose from and build in the box. In the box, if you get it from Tomb World, you can build 10 operatives out the door.
So we'll go over some of these guys that we don't have yet, and then I'll swap them over here for the models that we do.
Let's do it. All right, so we have the Head Taker Veteran. This guy is in Phobos armor. The stat line is 3, 7, 3, and 13. He has Special Issue Bolt Pistol, which comes with Piercing 1 naturally on it, which is always nice. He has Combat Blades, 5 attacks on 3s, 4 or 5 damage. He's your standard melee guy, but he's got a lot of cool abilities that Phobos players will know. So he has all the equipment. He has the grapnel launcher, and he has the grav shoot. So vertical distances, like he's essentially flying. It's kind of his little Batman moves right there. He has the head taker ability, which he can charge from conceal. If he does charge from conceal and he wasn't visible to the model that you charged, he can then perform 2 of his attacks. So he can strike. So let's say 2 crits on a weaker guy, kills them outright, and he can charge from conceal, which is always nice.
Yeah, this guy's really good. He's really, really good. I'm surprised you didn't build him. But you can only build 5. So yes. I think, did you just build your favorites, Giacomo? Is that what happened?
I built in the article that you'll read, I built the tack list I recommend to people. If you're unsure of what to take, this is a very decent amount of things to take. And if you just had to build 5 off the top of your head, this is what I'd recommend.
Yeah, we have 3. Giacomo built 3 different lists that he thinks would be good into melee, hordes, and then just tactical, just straight, right?
Yep, just whatever else. If you're unsure, you can take
elites,
this.
Elites might have been one.
Elites is one of them, yes, when you need to have just more hitting power.
This guy is one that I think I might take every game. This guy's crazy. The Death Watch Gunner veteran.
Yeah, he just has a really strong plasma weapon. It's the heavy plasma incinerator, which can stand at an overcharge.
Yeah, he has 5 attacks with his plasma, dude.
It's very
Imagine
strong.
a 5 attack plasma, right? Just imagine it.
Right. So when, real quick with this gunner, when I was deciding for the take all list, I had to think to myself, all right, I want a support unit that can fight pretty well, which was the sergeant. I want a regular support unit, which is the disruptor. I needed something that can deal with a good amount of small bodies and medium-sized bodies, so like the Horde Slayer. I needed someone who has really strong abilities like the Marksman, and then I needed to have one guy who's defensive, which was the Aegis. So I was between going the Gunner or the Marksman for like the ranged option, and I ultimately went with the Stalker. The Marksman.
I think the Disruptor was your singular poor operative choice against Canoptic.
Yeah, I think the Gunner probably would get me more mileage realistically. But again, we're doing our take on this.
Because you could just give him blast, and then he has a 5 attacks hitting on 3s, 4, 6, piercing 1, lethal 5, right? Because he has blast and into the dark, right? Or Tomb World or whatever, right? Yeah, it's crazy. It's nutty. What else? What is the other things that he could do?
That's
you
it.
could give him devastating 1,
ammo.
Right? With a lethal 5, imagine a 5 attacks hitting on 3s, 5, 6, hot, lethal 5, piercing 1, severe, or saturate, or rending, or piercing 1. Don't worry about lethal 5. Or dev 1, lethal 5s, and you're just like, oh yeah, well, this is on average going to do 7 damage on every critical.
Mm-hmm. It's very strong, especially if you overcharge it. Like, in fact, it actually probably is really good into hordes if they bundle up, because most hordes only have 7 wounds, so you just knock them out with the devastating.
What is this character's the fact that he can shoot and then counteract shoot again is crazy. So this guy has a specific name in 40K.
Yes, these are Hellblasters.
Hellblasters. Those are the guys.
So this is a Hellblaster.
Big fan. I love that. I love the Hellblasters when they came out. I really don't like the Mario Rocket guys, but I really like
those Rocket guys are kind of whack. Not gonna lie. I have them, but
you still bought them.
Of course. I like Space Marines.
We have Death Watch Demolisher veteran next.
Yes, this guy. Okay, he's got a crazy hammer, 6/7 with shock and stun. He does hit on force. It's a little unwieldy. Now, if you're playing hyper aggressive, which when you take in this guy, that should be your strategy. He has brutal assault. So when he fights, so fights not retaliates. When he fights, he gets brutal. When he charges, he gains ceaseless. So if you charge and fight, you have ceaseless and brutal, which is it's rough because you got shock and stun. Your opponent's probably going to die. You have aggressive force, so you subtract 1 damage to a minimum of 2. When you're fighting or retaliating. So you're really in the zone, you have adrenaline running, you're not taking as much damage. But you really want to play aggressive with this model, or else you do not get all those benefits. So if you're going to take him, make sure you're being aggressive.
Yeah. So just imagine, I want everyone to think about this. You charge, right? You have to charge with this model. Otherwise he's kind of bad, but you charge and you have 5 attacks hitting on 4s, ceaseless, 6, 7. I mean, you're killing any legionary.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, you can't give this special ammunition.
You're right.
It's not a ranged attack.
He has a bolt pistol. You could give him blast.
Yeah, you could give him blast if you need the bolt pistol.
But sometimes, I underestimated how strong just 3-4 on blast is. Period. Mm-hmm. Like 3-4 damage on blast is still crazy.
Yeah,
it's better than a frag grenade if you're hitting on 3s.
Yeah, and if you give it Tomb World, then you have lethal 5 as well because it has blast now.
Very strong.
That's a strong power.
Who's this operative going to be when you hobby them up?
The Demolisher. Ooh, I haven't quite thought of this one. I didn't want to do Space Wolves because I feel like that would have been the choice. I might go Templars. I like the idea of Templars having a hand, but no, they're more swords, so I don't know. I'll have to decide.
Okay,
it'll happen.
We have the Breacher veteran, which you've told me might be the best operative on the team.
The best Gravis operative for sure. So he's 18 wounds. He moves a little slower at 5 inches, but really that's not that much of a problem. Here's what makes him super nice. He has the Hellstorm bolt rifle, which, unless I'm mistaken, it can shoot twice without having to spend the extra AP because it's just a bolt weapon, which is awesome. So that's always good. And if he doesn't need to use that, he can just shoot his grenade launcher twice, but that costs the extra AP. So he has that flexibility going for him. The Hellstorm bolt rifle, is 4 or 5 damage with Torrent 1. That's very strong. Like it's infinite range, whatever. He has a Melt-A-Bomb, which at first I was like, I know it's good against elites, but maybe the hammer's better. Then I realized you really only need to kill an elite with the bomb once anyways. And it's crazy. He's piercing, crazy damage, and he still has good fists, 3-4 damage. It's hard not to take this guy in most situations just because he can do a lot of what everyone else can do. He has like strong weapons like the Bombard has. He has Torrent, so he's kind of like doing a fake version of the Horde Slayer. So he can take a lot of abilities.
Your auxiliary grenade launcher effectively could, in theory, get blast, which also gives it lethal 5 on Into the Dark, right? You could just give it severe,
Yeah.
You can do all sorts of stuff with this guy,
It's hard to not take the Breacher in most cases.
A lethal 5 crack grenade hitting on 3s.
A blast crack grenade, which is nuts. Let's say you put a devastating shot on your frag grenade, because here's the cool thing about Torrent and frag. It is one shot. So the ammo type happens on all of it, and then each roll is happening separate to each model. But the shot comes from one source. So your ammo happened for all of that. So that's crazy with Torrent and Blast. Like, what? Devastating on everyone? What's going on, guys?
Yeah,
it's really good. So it's hard to not want to take this guy in most cases.
Yeah, and he has a Melt-A-Bomb, which means that he breaches through the Tomb World walls better than anyone else.
That's the thing to point out. So if you see on his keywords, thank you for reminding me, he has the Breacher keyword right there, which on, as you just mentioned, in Tomb World and any breachable walls, I assume in the future, you, instead of taking 2 AP to breach a wall, it costs 1 AP to breach a wall now, which is awesome. So again, he has that tool strapped to him as well. Like, he's got a lot. I think one way they could have toned him down is if they had given him an Astartes shotgun, so he had to be a little more close range or something. But I'm still not upset. I still really like the Hellstorm bolt rifle. I think it's
Dude,
an awesome
still
guy.
Imagine like a 4-4 Astartes shotgun hitting on 2s that has like blast 1. Like what are we doing? Hitting on 2s, blast 1, like.
Right. So like either option is still really strong because 4 or 5 damage on Hellstorm bolt rifles are really good.
I'm just glad you cannot modify Melt-A-Bomb. That was the very first question I asked. I literally were sitting there reading the rules. I was like, yo, can you give Melt-A-Bomb your Melt-A-Bomb?
Yes, you cannot do it to Melt-A-Bombs, and you cannot do it to the explosive grenades from the universal rules list.
Correct.
Yes. Oh, and you can't give blast to a weapon that has torrent already. So you can't make this torrent weapon a blast. It's important.
We have Bombard Veteran next.
Yes, so this is your other Gravis, one of the other Gravis models. So if you look at his profile and his weapon, his shell shot has a 5.7 with piercing 1. He has the 4.5 with torrent 2, which if you kind of look at it, 4.5 is pretty strong and it'll take out most elites. Like if you're playing into models that have 21 wounds, like on average, so something closer to Raveners, this guy might just be a little bit better, because you don't have to rely on the Melt-A-Bomb to get that shot off. You can do a 5.7 piercing shot from far, which can, might help you out. So that's the place I'd probably take the Bombard, but most of the time, again, like the other guy can just sort of do the job for you.
Yeah, still 5.7, and you could just give it like severe or something like that.
It's pretty strong.
It's really strong. It's basically like a long range melt-a-gun.
Yeah, and even though I'm saying the Breacher is very strong and maybe like the best Gravis guy, there isn't a single Gravis guy you couldn't take that wouldn't do the job really well. They're all still going to do the job really well.
Absolutely, especially with 5-inch move, 18 wounds. They're going to all be relatively difficult to take out.
Yeah, they tank.
Before we go into the ones that you've actually painted and the reasons why, well, we'll talk about hobby afterwards, but the reasons why you chose these ones. We have the Blade Master, which is one of the ones, if I was painting the team, if I was doing it, I would have dropped any of these guys for this guy, right? Like, I'm colorblind, right? I'm colorblind, and I like the green Xenophase blade, like the Imperium, they sanctified it. They said it was okay. Now they can use it.
Only for them, though. Only
model
Inquisition
is nutty. This model is nutty. Nutty.
Yes, he has a crazy ability. So first, his weapon is a Xenophase blade. You're going to notice he has dual and phase sweep. Both have brutal, both have lethal 5, and then one has the phase sweep rule, which we'll get to in a second. He's got the special issue bolt pistol, so he has piercing 1. Awesome. He's got pretty good weapons. So let's go ahead and start with adaptive swordsmanship. So whenever he can ignore his changes to his hit stat when he's fighting dudes, which is always really nice. And you can also resolve one of your successes before the normal order. It must be a block. Now, so what this means, let's say you roll your 5 dice. Your opponent rolls their 5 dice. And let's say you're fighting. Before it happens, you can take one of your dice and block. Then now the normal order starts, and it's still you first. So then you can block again or something, right? Some combination. So this is very good.
Their only hit.
Parry their only hit first, and then just take them out.
They hit twice. You could parry, and then murder them.
Yeah, this is exactly like the adaptive swordsmanship is great. It's even better into like weaker models, like 10 or less wound guys who usually only have about 3 attacks each, because then you could just parry them out. Like they're not going to do this. And then we have phase sweep. So this is one of the cool things about this that goes into adaptive swordsmanship. So let's say you're fighting, you charge a bunch of dudes, everyone was in your control range. Use the phase sweep. You can fight each one of these guys for one fight action. So if you do it all until you're dead. So if you fight a bunch of small horde guys, you parry them out, kill one, parry them out, kill one, parry them out, kill one. You can just do crazy damage with the phase sweep. He is definitely, bringing in, he's doing his spin to win tactics. Was that Garen from League of Legends was the spin to win? Yeah, he's spinning to win right there.
Objectively better.
Yeah. Into weak models, he just beats them up. Into strong ones, though, he still has the regular dual mode for the blade, which is 4/6 brutal 5 lethal 5. It's still, he gets more attacks on that one too. Sorry, so he's 5.
Hold on, let me prove that Darius is better. Hold on.
Okay. Oh, he's going for the reasoning, which I get, right. It's because he's a Darius fan.
No one ever gets to see this particular photo in from the streams or in our studio. So let me just show you a piece of art that I really enjoy. Right? We have
Dunk Master.
Yeah. Dunk Master Darius right here. He's the homie, he's up on my wall permanently because he is the love of my life. I'm sorry, wife.
Hey, honestly, I know a few people who got the Dunk Master poster. They really do love him. Yeah. I have a buddy who even cosplayed as him. It was great.
Yeah. I don't know. It's just something about him, I just he's just very satisfying to play. Okay. So we have up next, we have the Death Watch Aegis veteran.
Yay. So that will be, that guy. There you go. Yeah. So those who are watching this on YouTube, you get to see the model. It's painted right there. It's a red scorpion. So this is the Death Watch Aegis veteran. He's got a bolt pistol. He's got a power maul and storm shield. And he's got the classic storm shield rule. So he can double parry with his thing, just like when Dueler was a thing for Angels of Death. He has the power maul, which has the shock ability. So he can, he gets a crit off. He removes one of your opponent's things. So further making sure you go, your opponent doesn't get to hit back. He reduces piercing by 1, and it can go to 0. So if you have a piercing 1 weapon, it becomes 0. He's got a 2-up save, he's a very defensive model. And you can sort of play aggressive with him because a power maul is still 4/6 damage. And I used him in the battle report. I think I could have used him more efficiently, but you'll still see how he can be played. Like, I was thinking in my head, you could set up kind of a barricade for your opponent to sort of funnel in, and he could just be there as this giant wall that comes in and starts smashing house and stopping you from doing anything. It's very, very strong. I love this little guy.
The fact that this guy basically has Duelist from AOD, is really strong. It's really good, and he's essentially the guy that you want to throw into, the legionary leader, or somebody like that. Like the fact that he just gets to every time he blocks is just really strong. I mean, there's a reason why they removed it from AOD, right? And this guy has it, right?
Yeah. I know we chose Red Scorpions for this one, for those who are watching and can see the reason, because a homie Janice said, "Hey, you have a Red Scorpion, right? Like, you're going to make one." And originally I wasn't, but our other friend who I had asked to pick one had chosen a pauldron that wasn't in the kit. So when the renders came out, they're like, "I want that one." And I was telling, that doesn't fit on this guy's arm. Sorry, we can't use this one. So then I went, I was just kind of reading around and that came up and I thought, all right, well, I'm going to throw a Red Scorpion in. Why not? And that's how the Red Scorpion was chosen.
I still cannot believe you waited until they released the...
It was easy because the pauldrons could be done at the end, even though the pauldrons took like a few hours.
Dude, I would have had so much anxiety. The fact that you waited to the last minute to do the pauldrons, I'd be like, oh, well, I would have already known. I would have went Power Rangers with them. Next up, we have the Sergeant.
Yes, the Watch Sergeant.
For some reason, on this green Earth, you chose a Lamenter model. Lamenter.
Sure did. The Blood Angels successor chapter. The Lamenters, the Sad Boys. So let's go over this guy real fast. He's got a plasma pistol and he's got a power sword, which is, again, it's a plasma pistol and a power sword, which for people who play a bunch of Astartes know that this does not normally exist. This is a very, very strong combination, and he can shoot that plasma pistol twice, but it gets even better. He has the ability to let you take an extra equipment, which is always awesome. You could just, the thing you were going to take, now you have it. And he lets you do one firefight ploy and one strategic ploy for free once per battle. So like, it just saves you on command points, essentially giving you 2 more and an equipment. It's great, And so the reason we chose Lamenters was because the homie Alex Popov, I said, pick one. And he said, I like that heart one. Well, how about that one? In fact, you're going to notice that a lot of these were picked by him because I asked him to pick all of them except one. So
you asked the guy who doesn't care about lore. Shout out to Alex Popov. Jesus.
And so then we did Lamenters, and I thought it was a fun challenge. I've never painted Lamenters, so that was cool.
I will still never paint Lamenters. You could have chosen the Griffins. You could have chose so many chapters. Mm-hmm. Okay, sorry. Okay, we're gonna move on.
Lamenters are cool. They're sad boys, so why not have a sad boy sergeant?
Sad boys, I think, are like the Raven Guard. I think they're the most bad. Next up, we have Batman. He's Batman because he has double antennae.
Yeah, that's right. He's kind of has like a little.
Let's
bit
see if I can
Batman
get a more of a
close up right there. So this is the Disruptor Veteran. This is essentially your Phobos support model on crack. So he has better stuff. So let's start with the Advanced Omni Scrambler. It's the regular Omni Scrambler you know and love, but now you get to do D6 turns instead of equal to the amount of infiltrators, which means he himself can really can shut down whole teams on his own. He does still have to be within 6 or be visible to them, right? So you still have to do that, but if you can do it, it's a really good way to slow some models down. In addition to that, he lets you use the advanced Aspect Scan for free. He does not need to be the main target. So as long as he can see the model to do the ability, he can activate it while, let's say, a marksman decides to shoot. And the marksman then can get saturate and can ignore obscuring. So he's a big guy you want to combo with your ranged weapons. Or you want to slow somebody down for a melee attack. So let's say your Hammerman, your Demolisher wants to charge in. He can come in and shut someone down from activating. Then your Demolisher can go charge him and beat him up.
Now, Giacomo, you painted these guys very well, very nicely.
Thank you. I appreciate it. And so Silver Bulls, I believe they're called Silver Bulls. Really what happened was we didn't pick this one. I guess we'd forgotten, and I was like, I just need to pick something, but I didn't know what to take. I didn't want to do Ultramarines for this guy. I actually want to do Ultramarines for the Plasma Man. So I just kind of looked up chapters, and I like this one. I chose that one. Yeah.
Perfect Raven Guard.
Yep.
It's disappointed. Okay. Next up, we have
the Horde Slayer.
Horde Slayer veteran.
Yes. So this one, he's got a flamethrower. You make him a salamander. I feel like it's pretty generic, but I'm going to do that till I die. I did it back when I had my old Deathwatch kit, like when they were little guys. I did that then. I'll do it now. Doesn't matter. All right, so he's got the Infernus Heavy Bolter, one of the classic weapons from the team. It's awesome because you have the ability to fire your heavy bolter, which 4 or 5 damage with piercing crits, has torrent, is always nice. In addition to that, you have the Infernus flamer portion of the weapon, which hits on 2s, has 5 attacks, decent damage, and you can slap, like, let's say you slap some devastating wounds on that. You're hitting on 2 with burning dudes. That's real strong. With 3/3 damage, it'll take somebody out. And let's say then you can go on guard with this if you're in Gallowdark, so your things have a lethal 5, saturate, and torrent 2. Like, it's nuts how good this guy is into small bodies, into medium bodies. Decent into elites, decent, maybe not the best one, but I
could also give it. I think one of the best things to give this one in particular is devastating.
Yeah,
especially on ITD,
hitting on 2s, man. Like, just take it every time if you're in a Gallowdark / Tomb World setting. I think he might just be a little bit.
Then you have Dev 1, and on average, like all your crits are doing 4 damage.
Mm-hmm. It's nuts. Your opponent will die. Most likely take him a lot. 18 wounds. He's resilient.
I did my best not to get shot by this guy,
and you did a great job. I only got to shoot him once, so that's very good.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And that's what it should be, right?
I also don't have very many models, so
you don't. Yeah, so you had to be specific. Now, if you had more Horde guys, you might be able to throw some dudes his way. But he is the Horde Slayer, so he's all about that.
They would just die. Next up, we have our final model for the Deathwatch.
Yes, that is the Marksman Veteran.
This is the model that I believe I hate the most.
Yeah, so we'll quickly cut to
in a good way.
Why he is disliked by opponents, I should say, disliked by opponents who have to see what he does. So he has Vigilant Marksman. So what this means is he can go on guard in any terrain type. It doesn't just have to be into the Dark or Tomb World, and no close quarters required. But in addition to that, if he's in Tomb World or in Gallowdark, and he goes on guard and takes a shot, after he finishes that shot, he gets to go on guard again. This only happens once after he does that. So once per turning point, that is. So he can't just go on guard, shoot, go on guard, shoot, go on guard, shoot forever. He only does it. It happens once per turning point that he does it. But still, that's very strong. His Stalker Bolt Rifle is 3/5 damage if he doesn't move or just does his dash only. And he still has the mobile shot, which is still 3/4 damage on a bolter, which can be given special rules. It's still strong. But most of the time, you're probably going to be playing him defensively, getting him ready to defend a point. And if you combo him with the Disruptor, you can, really get a lot of stuff out of that. So highly recommend it. This guy is probably going to go in most of the time, most lists. Unless you just don't want to play with guns and you just want to go straight melee, then that's an option too. Yeah, so that's the Marksman. He's great. And Alex Popov also looked at the skull and thought, like, that's a cool thing. Let me take that. And so I like Exorcists. I just happen to also enjoy them. So that was kind of perfect that happened. And Exorcists are cool. They get demons in them and then have them exorcised so that they're more immune to demons. It's just cool. And I like it. And it has cool little skulls, and we finally, I think this is the second time we've had this pauldron. So that's always rad. And
it is, and you painted it very nicely. This is the one I'm least upset at you about.
Yeah. Kind of reminds me of Obi-Wan Kenobi with the head.
I mean, you're not wrong. So next up, we have some faction equipment. Back to vertical cards here.
Yes. So
we have digital weapons up first.
Yes. So this is pretty nice. If you're familiar with Stricken Scorpions, when they charge, they get to do damage. This happens as well. But this is only at the roll attack dice step, and it only can happen once per turning point. So you can't just fight and then fight again and get this. Just happens once. But that little extra damage might be all you need. So if your Demolisher is running into an 8 wounded guy, does 1 damage, then hits him with a critical, he's dead. That the little spikes like these damage dots really, really help. So digital weapons is a pretty good selection if you're unsure of what else to take, especially if you're going to be playing very melee and aggressive. So it's a good one. I give it a 3 out of 5. 3 to 5.
3 out of 5.
Give it a rating.
Okay. Is it something you take every game?
No, I probably wouldn't. I don't think I really got as much use out of it as I had remembered. But that's okay. Let's see. Ammunition reserves. This one's cool. So once per battle, when you're using the special issue ammunition ability, you can use it a second time. So that's always great, just in case you need one on a turn. Like I actually need 2 different spots where this has to happen. You can have that happen, which is nice.
All right. I'm going to save the best one for last.
And one's a 5 out of 5 for me. I think you're always going to take the second
ammunition reserve.
Yeah, I think you're always going to take it. You have the Scrutivore Servo Thrall. I think I said that right. Scrutivore Servo Thrall. So this is cool. So once per turning point, you can have a Deathwatch operative do a mission action for 1 less AP. So it's always nice. Most of the time, that's going to mean 0 AP on a mission action. In addition to that, an enemy operative within its control range doesn't prevent the operative from doing the mission action. But if you do this, you have to roll off with your opponent. And if you lose, your skull dies. So this can be nice if you have an opponents who like are really trying to take a point and they just have more APL than you. You just come in, do this once, and then like maybe your skull dies. That's okay. You only needed to do it once to help you win the game. That's another 3 out of 5, 4 out of 5, actually. Pretty good one. And then now you have the best one, the Sanctus 5 Biosquire Cuffs. So once during a friendly Deathwatch activation, before or after they perform an action, if it's not within control range of an enemy operative, they can do one of the following, which they can either heal D3 lost wounds, they can remove any changes that happen to their APL stat, or they can remove one of like a status token, such as like poison or terror chem or something like that, or whatever might happen in the future, I guess. That's awesome. Because you're just here's some debuffs. I'm going to take those debuffs off. You took a little bit of wounds from the plasma pistol shot. Now I healed it back. Or maybe you just got a little bit of a hit. You heal it back. So now you're not injured anymore. They're trying to reduce my APL. No, I'm fine. I have full APL. So I get all 3 to do them again.
I'm poisoned? Not anymore. I took a little bit of damage and now I'm not,
Exactly. And again, this is before you perform an action, which if I'm remembering poison correct, happens before you perform the action as well, right?
Not before, but technically it happens before you would heal. It does damage first.
Right. Okay. I wasn't sure if that happened. Okay. So you still might take it, but that's okay because then you remove it. I'd rather remove it than having poison on me all the time. Or you could just tank poison and go, I'm just going to heal D3 wounds. I don't even care.
Yeah.
So like whatever. You pick your poison. 5 out of 5. Like the Sanctus 5 says, 5 out of 5. Take it every time. There's never a time you shouldn't. Cool trick. If I'm getting this correct, if I'm wrong, you can tell me in the comments. If you take the sergeant and he gives you the extra ammunition, extra equipment, you take it after you've already selected equipment. So if there's any team that want to do some kind of shenanigans to your equipments,
like
Gellerpox is the one that comes to mind. You can get around this. So if I'm wrong, please let me know in the comments.
I think so.
I believe that's how it works. So that's just one way.
I'll put it up for people. I just have to. There's so many operatives in this dang team. I have to find them. Sergeant.
Yes. So if that's the case, that's what I'd recommend when you take your additional piece of equipment.
You can select an additional equipment option. It doesn't say when you select it, so you might select it the same time because it doesn't say afterwards or during the scouting step or any of that kind of stuff.
That's a good point.
So
unless we get an FAQ on that, I believe that's how it's supposed to work, but I could be wrong. If anyone knows, just let us know in the comments. I'm curious about that.
I'm relatively sure that if you brought Gellerpox and you play this model, and I'd have to look at the operation of things, but I'm pretty sure you select operatives before you select equipment, like 99% sure. That would mean that you would just get an extra additional equipment option, which would allow Gellerpox to be no Biosquire Scuffs, no Sanctus V Biosquire Cuffs for you.
Okay, so I was just curious if that was one way to get around it because you really do want to have the Biosquire like all the time. It's just like a 5 out of 5, 6 out of 5. It's incredible. Oh, now we get to move to our Xenos counterpart.
I'm gonna have all these guys trying to kill this guy because they can't kill him. He's impossible.
For real, I didn't touch him at all. He's a tough model, surprisingly.
Yeah, so they're all fighting him for a little while. Okay. Very cool model. I spent about 6 hours painting this model, which was more than I painted on the other models. I really enjoyed painting him. Putting him together was a little rough, but we'll get to that in the hobby. We'll tell you a little bit about them a little later. So first up, we have the Canoptics special rule. The obelisk node matrix. And yes, there are 2 pages. So as a strategic gambit, in the first turning point, place 3 of your obelisk node markers wholly within your territory. Okay. I found out that on Into the Dark, I kind of just put them near doors, and then on turning point, so I could open doors, or at least one, and then I kind of set them up near other objectives. You know, I put them one on my own objective, one on the middle, and then one on the other side. You could kind of like really just hardcore force one side and put a bunch of them next to each other. It can create quite a big line. One point of the game, I did have a really big like line stretching from one side of the board to the other side of the board, which was really fun, unintentional, but cool, right? I enjoyed it. Sometimes you're like, oh, they're within 6. I get a line. That's exciting. And then I used a strategic ploy that Giacomo thoroughly hates now, and like literally destroyed his life. It was amazing. But we'll get to those. We'll get to that in a second. I made like an energy wall that was very difficult for him to walk through. And he's like, oh no, I'm a Space Marine custode guy and I can't move around. I was like, haha, I'm a dangerous Necron that knows magic. Haha. Okay.
Fun fact, just something to point out since you mentioned magic. I like that we've collectively accepted that in sci-fi magic doesn't exist, but psychic powers are fine.
Yes.
Which is just
also,
magic.
If you play Magic the Gathering, this team is a blue-black deck. Period. This is, if you played any kind of Magic and you like it, this is a blue-black deck. If you don't play Magic, you don't know what I'm talking about, ignore the last 15 seconds. So your obelisk, your obelisk nodes, your markers, right? Control other markers within 1 inch of them that no enemy operatives contest. Okay. So essentially, if they're on a marker, you can control another marker that somebody else isn't contesting, which is nice, right? So you can control them. There is a way that you can tap them with your leader, right? If more than one player would use their obelisk node markers to contest the same one, no obelisk node marker controls it. So if you're playing against another Canoptic team, which would probably be a fun match, Giacomo, you know, like the Ravener v. Ravener, I think Canoptic versus Canoptic circles, 2 circles joining each other, right, would be quite a fun matchup, you know, like I'm going to move my node here. I'm going to move my node here. Oh. You know, it'd be quite,
it's a Venn
quite
diagram
fun.
fight. I love it.
Yeah, it's a game of geometry. So whenever one of your obelisk node markers is within 6 horizontally of another obelisk node marker, those markers and the area between them create an obelisk node matrix shown above, right? So I might have played a lot of things wrong. I'm going to have to reread some of these things because I think the other ones are just nodes. And that's
there's a lot on this. There's a lot happening for this team.
Okay. So there are some issues with obelisk node matrix and how it functions. For instance, it doesn't say it has to be flat. It doesn't say it has to be straight. Can it be curved, Giacomo?
Sure. It doesn't say it can't.
You know, don't bad faith interpret them. All these lines are straight. I'm relatively sure they're supposed to be straight. But it's besides the point. Those markers and the area between them create an obelisk node matrix above and below. In other words, their height in the kill zone is irrelevant. If all 3 of your obelisk node markers fulfill this, it creates a larger combined obelisk node matrix. Okay? Whenever a friendly Canoptic circle operative is in your obelisk node matrix, weapons on the data card have accurate 2 weapon rule and get a +1 to its APL stat. So Giacomo, okay, I'm just rereading this again, right? You only get accurate 2 and APL of 1 when there's a line?
When the matrix exists, correct.
well, we didn't play that right. That's okay.
Oh, that's okay. It's okay. I didn't catch it either, so not a big deal.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's what it seems like. So essentially, you only get this bonus if you're in or around the matrix, right? So that is the thing.
Yes, the matrix is very important.
It is very important. It's very important for the heart and soul of the team,
Yes.
right? So essentially, you want to have them within 6. Very good. Very good. So next up, we're going to talk about some strategy ploys. We'll try to burn through these as fast as possible. We have cryptographic repulsion, we might have played it right. I don't remember.
That's okay.
Once per action, when the first time an enemy walks into or moves within your obelisk node matrix, noting that has to be the little triangles and lines, right? The distance is treating as an additional plus a 1 inch. Note this means that enemy operatives that don't have sufficient move distance at the end of that move cannot move within your obelisk node matrix. Okay. This is the thing that I did to screw Giacomo over. I made it so that his counteracts, I was like, yo, you can't. Nope. That's what happened.
It's strong.
Next up, we have transdynamic amplification, right? So if my node mate, whenever a normal homie is shooting, if your obelisk node matrix is intervening, or the target is wholly within your node matrix, that friendly operatives has the ceaseless weapon rule. I did use this one quite a few times in the game. It only came up so many times because you didn't really get into my matrix until turning point 3 and turning point 4. But I think that's probably going to be on average, unless you're playing against like Felgor or something like that.
Right.
Something that's like
close the gate.
Yeah, hyper aggressive. Next up, we have hyper shielding. This gives you ceaseless rerolls if you're within your node matrix, right? Maybe these do allow you to get within one of just the node. It really should be just the node or the matrix itself, but everything is referencing to a reference of matrix itself. We'll have to, if you guys can read better than Dakotah's dyslexia, then by all means, I read these things about 20 times, 15 times before I'm ready for an event, Okay. We have Soul Drain coming up next. Soul Drain's pretty good. Basically, models that are fighting within your obelisk node matrix subtract 1 from the damage stats of those enemy operatives' melee weapons. I use this almost every round, and Giacomo refused to fight me in melee.
Mm-hmm.
And then the one turn I didn't do it, he fought me in melee.
I would have fought you in melee with 1, but you got to disappear before I could counteract hit you. So
it made me very upset. I'm not gonna lie. It made me very upset.
But it's a strong ability. Like it's kind of a hard counter to melee operatives,
It can be if you use your node matrix correctly. Next up, we have a nodal response. Use this Firefly ploy during a Canoptic Circle operative's activation before or after it performs an action. You can either change one of those strategic ploys you used during this turning point for only pay an additional CP if it costs more, or use a strategy ploy, pay its CP cost as per normal. This one kind of lets you be more reactive, kind of like I was telling you, they're reactive. Also, as you can see, a lot of these strategy ploys are very just reactive in general, right? Mm-hmm. They're like, hey, come to me, fight me, I'm here. Okay, you want to stay away? I'm going to shoot you through my matrix. Hey, you going to come fight me in my matrix? I know Neo.
And that's one of the first instances where you can change a strategic play, I think. I've never seen that before. That's cool.
I think Warp Coven have something, or it was last edition where they could change one of their secondaries.
I feel like they would be the one to do it if someone were to get it. But it's cool that these guys have it now.
Yeah, they're both magic guys. Yeah. Sacrificial Thrall, definitely use this. There's one point where Giacomo was like, I'm going to shoot your leader. And I was like, no, you're not. Let's just get down, Mr. President, Yep. We have animate obelisk nodes next. This is probably your second best or your third best if you like Sacrificial Thrall a lot, I think Sacrificial Thrall is very, very good. Animate Obelisk Node Matrix. There is a piece of equipment that effectually makes this so that you don't have to spend command points to do it. You can move all of your things up to 6 inches, or you can move 6 inches, right? I used this in the game once and only once. It was very good. It was very clutch when I used it. It really can catch your people, like people off guard, right? Especially with like loot or other things that you're being forced to do things. If this team had like plant beacons, I believe that you could use plant beacons as well as just a mission action, right? All sorts of stuff, but they don't have access to recon. So it is what it is. And finally, the best one is Just a Scratch. They have Just a Scratch. Why do they have Just a Scratch? I don't know, but they have Just a Scratch and they have Get Down, Mr. President. So I definitely use this. This kept I think I used it on both of my big guys. I would have used it on my leader too. I always made sure I kept one just in case every turning point, in case I needed to use shield player, in case Giacomo was trying to do something crazy.
Yes.
Crazy. So next up, we have our operatives here. I will remove the Xenos slaying guys.
The watch is dead.
I don't know if they're dead. They're just taking a break, a coffee break. Now, this is going to be a little bit of an ordeal just to get through the Geomancer, because there's 3 cards for him. Okay. Yes, this is the first operative on planet Earth that's ever had 3 operative cards. Geomancer actions are printed on their own cards. Why, you might ask? Because he does so much stuff that he has to have 3 cards. It's a lot. It's a lot. So first up, he has Tremor Glaive, 4 attacks, hitting on 3s, 4/5 damage, piercing 1, piercing crits 2. Cool. He also has Quake, and this is 6 attacks, hitting on 3s, 1/3 damage, blast 2, seek light, and stun. For his melee, he has a sweep ability, which is 4 attacks, hitting on 4s, 4/5 damage, severe shock, and stun. Pretty devastating in close combat, right? Because you can just start shocking things and stunning things away. He is rather good. I don't think he's particularly great into Death Watch melee, right? But against a lot of other teams, hey, he's great in melee. Not against Death Watch. Keep him out of melee.
Decent stats.
That's my personal opinion. Okay. Next up, he has Obelisk Node Control. He can do mission actions. So he can do the Operate Hatch with this. He can also do. Can he only do the Operate Hatch? Wait, did I misread this? Whenever your operative would perform a mission action, if it requires the operative to control an objective marker, you can use this to determine control of your Obelisk node markers. Yes, I'm pretty sure. Giacomo, read this real quick. I'm going to write this down.
Let's see. So you make it a little closer. I can't see it from this far.
I'll read it out loud. All right.
Yeah, whenever this operative would perform a mission action, if it requires that operative to control an objective marker, you can instead determine control from one of your Obelisk node markers. Whenever this operative perform an Operate Hatch action, you can open or close hatches that access point is within 1 inch of your Obelisk
This is
marker.
saying that you can do loot, right?
Yeah, because if it says you required control for it, you would control it because you're determining control from your Obelisk node marker. And if the marker's on it, which would make sense to me, because you would control it, so therefore you should be able to do the action.
Whenever this operative would perform a mission action. Oh, yeah. He's saying whenever this operative. Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
So he should still be allowed to do it with his node because the node is now being the one in control.
Yeah. And, so let's do the Obelisk node again.
All right.
So the Obelisk node marker, right? It is saying that your operative can move a marker onto a mission marker, and then you would be able to tap it. You cannot do plant beacon. I apologize. But you can go and tap it, right? Let's see if I can make it a tad bit bigger. for everyone. So you can tap it with this operative because this operative is controlling it, right? This operative can also open a hatch from across the table. And I don't believe that this costs any particular like APL. So he can only operate one hatch per turning point. Right. So he can do that, but he could also tap a point. Right. So he has 3 APL, right? Over here, we can see 3 APL, 6-inch move, 3-up save, 14 wounds. So he can do all this already. So he can open a door and tap a point. You're going to start seeing where he's going to start cooking because we got 2 more cards to go through, ladies and gentlemen.
Mm-hmm. That's a lot.
Yeah. We have Geomantic Disturbance, right? So this is a 1 AP activation. Select a point on the terrain feature that must be visible to and within 8 inches of this operative. You can be on conceal. As long as you see a piece of terrain within 8 inches of you, you get a roll 2d6 for each operative within 2 of that point. You don't even have to see them, right? If the result is higher than this operative's remaining wounds, inflict damage equal to the difference. So for instance, you could select a piece of terrain where there are 5 veteran guardsmen standing behind them or blooded models, and you could roll 2 dice. You could roll 6, right? And you automatically do 5 damage or double 6s. You could do 5 damage to every single one of those markers. It's a great way to kill those pesky little Gellerpox guys that are hiding in super conceal. This gets around super conceal.
Mm-hmm.
This operative cannot perform this action while it has the conceal order. Okay, there you go. You can't do it on conceal or while within control range of an enemy. So it has to be on engage. We figured it out. This
is great against ratlings. You just run up there thinking they're super concealed. You can't touch them. Just blow the terrain they're hiding behind. They die because they got 6 wounds. So forget.
Or you injure them at least if you roll 9, or you're at least doing 1 damage to them for 1 AP to a bunch of them, Goodbye, puppy,
Yeah.
Crazy.
Because I've noticed rattling players like to stay in a spot and you blow up the terrain feature.
They're just professional campers.
Yeah.
I heard that they like going to Camping World,
Very REI guys, REI I think is the brand.
So this is Canoptic Control is essentially, what is that called? What is the counteract thing that the other guys have, Jock?
Network counteract?
This is better network counteract. Because you don't have to spend your counteract. You just look at a dude within 6 inches and you're like, hey, do this. Do this again.
It's kind of like my will be done,
I misused this in the battle report. I had a model who I healed and then I resurrected because Giacomo kept killing it or kept trying to kill it. He finally killed it. Then I resurrected it. Then I used my leader to walk over and be like, hey, dude, heal him again. You can't do that. I am aware. I get it. Okay. I didn't know it last night.
It's okay. Happens.
But, this is really good because you can use a model to move more like 2 inches. I think the very first time I used it to move a model so that I could use 2 AP. It's only 2 APL to open one of the doors. Right. What else did I do with this? You could use it to shoot again with your transdimensional locator thing, right? There's some crazy tech I'm going to tell you some guys that I figured out after the game, and it's going to have to deal with Canoptic Control as well. Okay, so next up, where's the third one? There's the third one. We have the strongest ability that this model has is Molecular Breach. It is a support ability, so you can take the comms device, right? Which I did not do, but you could take the comms device and any model within 9 inches of this operative, it is 6, unless you take the comms device, right? Any model within 9 inches of this, you can select them for 1 AP, right? Or if it's in your node matrix, support doesn't apply to this selection, right? For the node matrix one. Mm-hmm. And the next time that operative would move, you're allowed to teleport it up to its move stat. That's what this whole thing is saying. Up to its move stat. If it's performing a charge action, it does not get the additional +2, right? You cannot do it for falling back because you can't do it while within control range, right? So there are some caveats, but something you can do that I didn't think about. You could move a model at the beginning of the game, right? You could set up a model, and then you could use this model as your last activation, and you could use Molecular Breach on that model, right? And then you could just sit in there, waiting the whole turn to teleport, and you could start this model again and use Molecular Breach again, right? Or, God, there's so much to do. Or you could essentially wait a turn, and as long as that model doesn't move, he still has Molecular Breach on him, right? So then you could have, by the beginning of turning point 3, you could have 3 guys who could just teleport wherever they want. And then you could be like, okay, I'm going to teleport this guy, and I'm going to use I'm going to use my one-shot wonder gun, right? I'm going to use that. And then on your next activation, you could then teleport your Geomancer to be behind him and be like, hey, connect to control, shoot that gun again. Cool. And now I'm going to use my thing, and I'm going to shoot this guy for my 3rd activation, and my 4th activation. Then I'm going to use Geomantic Disruptant and shoot somebody again. And then I'm going to move, and then I'm going to dash away, because I have 4 APL. I'm within my, you just go crazy with the amount of things that you can think about and the things you can do with this team. And I started to unlock the sauce, like if I was a Italian chef, I started to cook on turning point 4, I was like, oh yeah, I got this. What's up? This is not an Italian accent. But I started to definitely cook on turning point 4. I started figuring out some stuff. Giacomo, would you say that I became, a Brooklyn chef? You know what I'm saying, man? I just start cooking here. Turning point 4, I just figured it out at the end,
I believe you became a chef at the final turning point. That's when everything started to click. All the ingredients came together.
Yeah. I just forgot to add salt at the beginning,
I mean, yeah, there's a lot of stuff. And once you kind of know these rules, so many things you could do. It's crazy.
Absolutely. So here's a close-up shot of the model. Next up, we're going to talk about the Necrocyte, the Macrocyte Warrior. These guys are pretty awesome, I would say.
Yay, little bugs. And again, all new sculpts for the team. This is the first time I think they've been released that I can recall.
Absolutely. So the warrior sites, the Macrocyte Warriors, they have 2 APL, 7-inch move, 4 up save, and 7 wounds. These models are expendable. So if they die, they don't count towards the kill up. Mm-hmm. And you can spend a strategic gambit in order to have them keep coming back. This was extremely critical in my game against Giacomo. If you watch it, you'll find out why, right? Mm-hmm. I got a couple of them nuked off the board real early, and I was able to have them come back, and they came back on the other side of the board. So I was able to reinforce a side that I was losing. I think that makes it so, like, sometimes you might want a model to die so you could reinforce the other side. They have a 7-inch move, right? It's pretty strong. Mm-hmm. You get to set them up as a strategic gambit, and then you can just straight charge somebody that's too close to you. It's really pretty good. And when they die, they explode. They they're 4 attacks, hitting on 4s, 3/4 damage, right? If you can move them into your matrix node, then they'll get accurate too with either piercing or blast. You can pretty much keep them on engage, as long you want to keep a couple of them alive, but they have this ceaseless scuttling. So during a strategic gambit, you can have them come back to life. They have aggressive defense, which specifically says this operative is incapacitated by an enemy operative within 2 of it. Roll 1d3 on a 2 up, inflict damage on that operative equal to the result. I think I could have done this during the game. I did not do this. Maybe it's a maybe.
I think once during the sergeant, I think you could have done it against the sergeant.
Possibly. Yeah. So this was a very useful model. It's probably the second best model on the team. I think it goes leader, and then it goes all of your Macrocyte Warriors. I think they're very strategically viable, and you get to choose which gun you're going to do, which will help you into either hordes or I mean, I didn't find very much success shooting with them because hitting on 4s isn't great, but charging and attacking them with them, doing damage, and then having them blow up and doing additional more damage is very useful.
Yes.
Next up, we have the accelerator. Okay, well, I accidentally put the accelerator up there. That's how hard they are to tell apart.
They do
I also
have a similar looking body.
I'm not going to lie. I also had the reanimator up there. These were the 3.
Actual.
I'm not going to lie.
They kind of look a little similar, so I could see that as that getting a little.
Yeah. These are the warriors. There we go. They all have the same gun up top, and they all have little scythes and stuff like that. That was my bad. Next up is the accelerator. The accelerator has this little gun Y thing on the top of his back. You know,
he charges up the batteries of your other guys. He accelerates them.
He sure does. He has lethal 5, 3 attacks hitting on 4s. He's not a great shooter. He's not a great melee guy. In fact, his real purpose is to stun enemies and to overcharge your enemies and by giving them +1s. I did use this a lot until Giacomo revealed that he had contain. And then I was like, okay, well, this guy is no longer going to buff any of my team. I'm just going to go try to deny it with this guy. That's all I can do. Right. So this was he also has a 7-inch move. So if you need to do something like that, feel free to jump this guy away or any of your other warriors. He still has a gun. He can still stun, Yeah. So pretty cool. Pretty good guy. Next up, we have the reanimator. This one is the guy with the ball.
Yep.
On top of him, he has the atomizer beam, which is pretty decent. 4 attacks, hitting on 4s, 3/4 damage, range 6, lethal 5. Not terrible, right? Claws, he has pretty decent claws. And then this model is allowed to reanimate your operatives, right? Within 6, which is actually a really large range. I was able to hide this model, and then you killed one of my Canoptic tomb crawlers, and I was able to bring him back to life. He also had a lot of times where he could heal, right? The thing that you need to be aware of is that this last sentence, you cannot heal a model that was resurrected. It's the same as every other
medic type thing.
Same as every other medic. Dakotah didn't read that last sentence.
It's okay.
So I did heal a model, but it didn't change anything objectively. He only healed him for like 3 or 4.
Not enough to matter. So it was fine.
Yeah. So this is a very cool model. He's also pretty good. And then finally, we have the 2 big homies coming up next. These are the tomb crawlers, and the thing that you will notice with them is they have a 5-inch move, and they are just tankier Gravis Marines. 21 wounds, 3 attacks, and your healer can heal your guys for 3d3. If they don't die in 1 activation, you can use your leader. So you can use your healer to heal a guy 3d3, right? And then you could use your guy to be like, hey, do it again. And then you can heal him another 3d3, right? Like in the same turning point. Like you could be aggressive with these guys. You can heal them up. And then if they still die, then you can bring them back to life. And then the enemies might not have enough to kill them, right? They get accurate too if they're within your matrix. They're a weapon sentinel. So if they on conceal behind light terrain, it doesn't matter, but they still get cover. And then you have dimensional banishment, which is my favorite rule on these models. If you want to see if it went off, you have to watch the battle report. Yes, this is just an advertisement for our battle reports. That's all.
Of course.
The transdimensional isolator, which is the 1-shot wonder gun, is 5 attacks, hitting on 4s, 5, 6 damage with dimensional banishment. If you do damage or you do a critical and it deals damage to enemy models, and you roll 2d6, then you would roll 2d6 if you have a greater than the target's remaining wounds, right? That operative is incapacitated. Interesting thing. Felgor, when they're dimensionally banished, they don't banish. They're still there because when they incapacitate, they stay on the board, unlike every other faction.
Right, which is odd because lore-wise, I assume it's literally sending them to a banishment dimension, so they should just disappear.
Yeah, the transdimensional isolator, I imagine, is similar to the technology that the Eldar have, which is called the D weapons, the dimensional weapons. They tear holes into. Hey, you got a little close there. They tear holes into the fabric of reality, banishing creatures into the warp. I imagine these are very similar weapons. Yeah. So it's a very cool gun. It's very good. I really enjoy it. You can also shoot it twice a turn with your leader, but your leader really has to pick and choose because if he's starting to take a lot of damage, maybe it's better to heal him and get a second shot off next turn, right? We also have Steadfast. When determining control of an objective marker, you treat this operative as 3. This takes precedence over all the rules, meaning that any changes to its APL stat are ignored for this. That is very important because they don't want this operative to essentially have a 4 APL stat if it's standing on a matrix in the near node in its matrix on an objective. It's hard to get out. I'm not going to lie. It was rather difficult. I really enjoyed painting these guys. I took a lot of time in them, and I thought they were pretty fun.
I love the chrome. Giacomo, I think it's cool.
Thank you. You're the one that convinced me to bring it back. You know?
Yeah, hell yeah, dude.
So, faction equipment. Let's not forget that.
Let's do the equipments real quick.
That is the wrong slide. Here it is. So we have awakened obelisk nodes. This allows you to, at the beginning of the game, when this is revealed, you roll D3, right? And then you get to use your animate obelisk node a number of times for free for 0 CP, a number of times during the battle. Remember, the animate nodes is a firefight ploy. That is really important because the other special thing about about this, which we did play wrong. I only used it once. But essentially, this counts as an activation, right? You may move any number of your obelisk node markers instead. They can move up to 6 combined. And where is it? You can also move them 0. In any case, so you skip an activation, and in any case, your enemy activates as normal afterwards. Now, you just would have been able to go on guard and then kill my model that I charged you anyways, which would have happened. You just would have killed another expendable. It is what it is.
Which is what's nice about those expendable models. You could be like, they're going to skip their activation, so I could do this instead.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You have the Matrix Manipulator. Now, this is an interesting one. This is your Geomancer. He can turn himself into an obelisk node marker for an activation or a counteraction once per battle. Now, this is interesting because we have this thing that says this is what your little node matrix looks like. It's a 20 millimeter wide thing that is just under 6 inches. Don't ask me why it's just under 6 inches, but it is. It is not exactly 6. Your leader's base is 50 millimeters. These do not fit. This would become 50 millimeters from here. So it would become super fat. So you would get, if it's relevant, if you don't have enough move or something like that, you could like move up your transdimensional isolator into this super fat area if you didn't have enough movement to get there, and then you'd be inside your fat node matrix, right? Because this model for one activation has a really thick one, or if he's part of your node matrix, you just give him 4 AP, which is probably what you're actually going to use it for. But just so you know, that is an interesting interaction with the matrix manipulator. We have The Nano Scarab Caskets, I think this is a take every single game, no matter what. Whenever a Canaptic Circle operative is activated, it regains D3 lost wounds. This is another way to heal your big guys. Your big guys are very tanky and very hard to take out. I had a guy, my big guy took a crack grenade and 2 overcharged plasma shots before he died.
Yeah, he was tough to crack.
No,
that was with rerolls.
Four overcharged plasma shots, not 2, 4. Crazy. We have the Nano Scarab. That was that one. Sorry.
Well.
And then finally, we have the Phase Shifter. Note that this only affects the Geomancer. You can effectively use this rule to ignore piercing 1 against your Geomancer, which is your leader, which is another way just to keep him safe. If Giacomo would have somehow figured out how to shoot my leader, right, I would have been able to ignore his piercing 1 from his overcharged plasma gun, and then I would have also, I would have been like, I'm also not going to take one of those damages, Giacomo. So this is a very, very strong thing.
It's very, very powerful.
All right. Is there anything else, G, that you want to talk about here at the end of this podcast?
Yeah, the box. Okay. So now that you've kind of seen everything and you know the context of the box and all the things you can do, the options and the operatives you get, I want to ask you, Dakotah, do you still think it's worth the price that it is?
Giacomo, I'm buying 2 more boxes.
There you go. That's the answer. It's a yes. And I also would recommend buying this box, picking it up. You get 2 excellent teams, brand new sculpts for both Deathwatch and new models for Necrons, which is very cool. Cool. Two teams are pretty strong, in my opinion. Great for starting, great for existing players. It has a lot for everybody, whether you want to do terrain because new terrain sets. And you get the cool modes with NPOs, which is a thing now you'll notice they're doing. It started in Typhon, really, where they started giving you NPO models. And I think that's going to be for the future, which I think is for the better, because I have plenty of friends who enjoy Kill Team, but don't necessarily love all the hyper competitiveness that it can have. So sometimes they just want to play multiplayer, and I'm down with it. If that helps them play the game and get more people in the scene, I'm for it. So I really love the direction they're going with this, with the NPO mode. And, Dakotah likes writing his narrative stuff too. So like, it's cool to see more people encouraging a narrative play. And it's the type of experience you can have as well. I think this box is awesome.
Yeah. If you liked Gallowdark, you're going to love this. If you didn't like Gallowdark, you're going to love this. There's teleporting pads, there's light terrain, right? It's generally easier to make competitive maps if we're going to talk competitively real quick. I think it's generally easier to make competitive maps with this because you have the crutch of light terrain to put on a map, compared to like Gallowdark, which had no light terrain for competitive play, right? So it's generally going to be a little bit easier to do that. You also have teleporting. Me and Giacomo didn't use a teleport pad once. Spoiler alert. We could have, but there was no point. We both had too few models to do. I think teleporting is going to be a lot more usable. I think Giacomo had a chance to do it with your Aegis model, but you kind of heavily committed, and I think there's definitely going to be some really fun, cool play between those. What I'm mostly interested in, G, right, is, Vox Cascadia, right? There's a podcast, Our Brothers to the North, very fun guys, great podcast. They also, they are Tyler notoriously hates Gallowdark. He hates it, right? Or I don't know if he's gotten better. I haven't talked to him in like a month or two, but like he generally doesn't like it. And if he doesn't like this, I'm going to have to go up to Portland. We're going to beef. We're going to beef a little bit, Beef I think that beef on the table, I'll play him in Gallowdark and show him what's up. And, I'll lose on purpose. No, but I think that anyone who has disliked Gallowdark in the past will really enjoy this because there's like we can hope in Crit Ops that they have the the teleporting pads, and they have the light terrain, right? Because we've seen the rule book. The rule book has all of them, right? We have to wait for crit ops, but I'm really hoping they do. And if they don't, we as a community, we can just add them, like the rules exist. The rules are there, right? The maps are ours for the taking. If anyone knows me, I make competitive maps, basically for a living, right? And we run the world's largest events, so I think that these are definitely competitive. I think that they are very cool. I can't wait to see what the future of Kill Team holds for Tomb World and whatever teams are coming out in the future. I'm pretty stoked. I'm pretty hyped. And it just proves that Into the Dark isn't going anywhere. All these people that were waiting for it to leave, they got another 4 years, however long these seasons last.
And I'm for it.
Yeah,
I'm for it.
Yeah, me too. Super excited. Yeah, I'm Giacomo. Do you have any
shout-outs?
Any shout-outs?
I do. So you can join the conversation. If you're in YouTube, you could put comments down, or you can go on our Discord and tell us what you think about the 2 new teams, which one you might be picking up. Or if you decide you don't want any of this box, maybe it's a bad value, you tell us why. I don't think that's the case, but you can tell us why. You're allowed to say what you'd like to say in moderation. So you can join us there on the Discord. If you want to see us live, the next event we're going to be at, because we're hosting it and we're in charge of it, is the Las Vegas Open. That's between October 2nd through the 5th, if I'm getting the dates right. I always forget a little bit, somewhere around that time. It's in October, so if you get that chance, you should come to it, because it's a lot of fun. You get to play Kill Team. You get to see some cool stuff from people who come around from the whole country, and some from other countries, which is cool. Catch it there. You can see us on our Twitch, which will be kind of starting up again now that things are kind of moving, probably a little bit pretty soon. We don't know exactly when, but pretty soon. And you can catch more battle reports there. We'll try to have them on YouTube as well. We got the Hobby Highlander. You have the articles now, which are on our website as well. So you could read those if you want to just have something more, you want to work your brain muscles and read a little bit. That's always cool too. We can go a little more in depth on our writing as well. And, shout out to all you viewers and listeners out there. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you to the Patreon members, which we have the Patreon as well. It helps us do a lot of this stuff. And that's all my stuff.
Yeah. Well, thank you everyone for our patrons. Thanks for watching, getting to the end. Giacomo, what should they say here at the very end? Firstly, there's 2 more shout outs.
Ooh.
Other than Alex Popov. I'm not going to shout him out more times. He chose your little heart shoulder pad guy. I'm rather upset. Mentor. Yeah, I don't even want to remember their names. Shout out to Games Workshop. Again, thank you for sending us the box early. We really enjoyed painting it. I really hope that you enjoyed the battle report. I really hope that you enjoyed our hobby discussion. In fact, I like the hobby discussion more than Giacomo. And I was like, hey, G, we should put the hobby discussion at the front. He's like, no one's going to watch that. Yeah.
No, I'm like, keep that.
You're probably right.
At the end. Yeah. That's for the hardcore hobby fans,
You're right. But also, shout out to Yuji. You did an amazing job. You painted these guys fantastically. You spent multiple nights. You had to listen to horrible music the entire time. I don't know why you do that to yourself. Rush. My goodness. Shout out to Saya. Thank you so much for helping write the article that we're going to be posting. Thank you so much for all of your hard work that you put into this terrain and our countless hours. This was a huge undertaking for my entire family, including Giacomo, who's a part of my family, for the past 8 days, right?
Yeah.
A big section of our life, or especially recently. Thank you to Fox for making Alien.
Yeah.
I'm loving it. Thank you to Disney for making Andor. Also awesome. Getting me through this painting AK Light Earth on all of the terrain for 3 or 4 coats. Thank you so much. I needed the help. Hopefully you have something that you can always fall back on, whether it's book on tapes, whether it's podcasts, or anything else. Thank you to the viewers, our podcast listeners that have been with us for many years. Appreciate you all.
Yeah. And thank you to the painting team that helps us do stuff for LVO, because that's coming up too. So
yeah, don't remind me.
I had to, because we're all going to be working on that. It's coming. It's coming. Hope to see you guys there at LVO.
Yeah, it's going to be amazing. We're definitely putting in the effort to make sure that our terrain is beautiful, because if you're playing with beautiful models, we want to make sure our terrain looks just as pretty. So, yeah. Until next time, everyone. Dude, your hand. Look at your hand.
I know. What did I do? Was it this?
It looked like an oven mitt. There you go.
I think it does it once per session. I get to do fireworks.
See you guys later.
The Squad Games Podcast is a production of Squad Games Entertainment. For more information on Squad Games, please visit our website at squadgames.net or check out our YouTube channel at Squad Games Entertainment.